All right, guys. I've made a career decision.
Are you going to be a full-time cookie clicker?
I'm thinking about playing a game professionally for money, you might say. It's a game of...
Scrabble?
No. It's a game where you must... It's important that you outplay people, but it's also important that you're smart, right? It's also important that you outwit people. But like all games, it's sort of a game of like survival, so you also have to outlast them. And I've decided that this is what I'm going to do.
Fortnite?
Outplay, outwit, outlast, huh? That sounds like the worst slogan for a game ever. What game is that the slogan for?
Well, this went right over DJ's head, but I'm glad that Jason seems to have picked it up. What?
Nothing.
Nothing? Nothing? You got nothing? You're just not old enough, man. I've decided, because I've recently gotten into watching Survivor, I've decided that I'm going to be a survivor. What do you guys think?
I don't think you would literally survive.
I'd have to eat some things I wouldn't normally eat. That's for sure.
Vegetables?
I mean, if they even give you those, I guess, like... it seems like a thing. They are applying, they are taking applications for Survivor seasons 39 and 40.
Jesus.
Now here's the hard part. You have to like go to specific locations to I believe to do it. So that's the rough part.
I thought that used to be the thing where you just like send them a tape.
I think you have to go somewhere now. I don't know for sure.
Within 100 miles.
I know, right? But like, I think I'm going to do it. Yeah. Maybe they have open casting calls, but then also on the internet. I don't know. But I've decided that it's going to be my goal to get on Survivor since I've started watching it. And
why are you watching Survivor?
I don't know. We were at somebody's house one time and we didn't have enough to play Commander, and a month or two ago, and they're like, we were trying to figure out what to watch on Netflix or Hulu or what have you, and someone was like, somebody's a Survivor fan, was like, you guys want to watch Survivor? And two other people were like, no, what the hell's wrong with you? And I was like, hell yeah, I want to watch Survivor. So now I'm hooked.
So if you get hooked on a show like Survivor that's been on for 20 years, that's terrible, just because someone suggested it and they couldn't find anything to watch on Netflix or Hulu, who the fuck are you going to outwit?
Is that not how you make career decisions?
I mean, look, man, if I got on Survivor, I would be unpopular. I'd have to win every immunity challenge, probably.
See, people like me, and I think I could go very far in the game.
The fact that you think people like you, you've already been outwitted.
Yeah.
But like my problem, I think I've got a good hook, right? Here's the thing. I work in esports. I'm a gamer. I'm like a hardcore gamer. I can see all the angles, but also like I'm really trusting of people, right? And I have to overcome that while I'm on the island, and I don't like to eat weird things. So I think that's like a pretty good resume to get on Survivor. You have to understand, the show has become a parody of itself. When I was a kid, I watched the first season and it was intense, right? None of them knew, like, surviving on the island was not a given, right? It was like, can they do this? No one had any idea. So no one had any idea how to play the game at all, which made it very fascinating. But now,
wasn't it like season 2 that someone got hurt and they like just had a chopper take them off the island? They're like, oh, there's no danger.
Yes. But that's the thing. I've seen multiple people now because I'm watching the current season, but we also started watching one of the seasons with this guy named, I think his name is Russell, his first season, who's like gone down in history as the best Survivor player, even though he's never won. So this is what he does on the first episode of the show on his first season. And this was like 10 years ago.
You said we had a limited amount of time to cast tonight.
No, I am actually hooked. I want to hear this.
Okay. So he had 3 girls in his tribe and a couple other guys. And he talks to.
I think they like to be called women now.
No, but I'm using his words, right? So this is what he does. His first interview with the camera, he goes,
"Oh, we can just use the words of someone who's on Survivor, and it's fine if you just quote them." Cool. The guy season 1 called everybody queers, so I guess we can say queers on the podcast now. Is that what we're doing? I mean, that guy was a Navy SEAL, and apparently Navy SEALs can do whatever. So
I don't know. So this guy, he goes to the camera and he goes, "All right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make secret alliances with all of these girls. I made a secret alliance with the dumb blonde. I made a secret alliance with the even dumber brunette. And I made a secret alliance with this other one. And he just knows none of their names. So they all think they're in a secret alliance with him. And I'm
That's amazing.
2 or 3 episodes in. So here's the other amazing part about this show. Because it is crazy to see how much TV or culture has changed in maybe the last 10 years. There's some guy who said on national television that he was surprised that a black guy was a good swimmer because black people can't swim. That was the thing that a man said on national television, and they aired it. And I
JJ clipped that. Just those 3 words.
Wasn't it 4 words? Black people can't swim. Anyway,
choose 3 words of that. JJ.
Well, I think it's actually, real talk of it, not to get
just Corbin saying black people. We could do a lot with that.
Not to get too serious, but it's actually kind of like a commentary on, it stands out to me now.
I'm sure the producers told him to say something like that.
Maybe. Maybe it wouldn't have stood out to me 10 years ago. I mean, obviously it's a sign of privilege that, I was shocked because any person of color is like, yeah, of course people say that because they fucking suck.
At swimming? Yeah, that's true.
But anyway, so then the next thing is they have a challenge where they put basically a basketball type thing in the middle of a mud pit. They put 2 basketball goals on each end. There are 6 people on each team. They put 3 balls into the middle and then 3 people from each team. And they say, get this back to your teammates on the platform who then have to shoot it. Go. So you have grown adults just literally tackling, fighting, body slamming each other, picking people up and throwing them on national TV. And I'm like, look, I know you got to sign waivers to get on Survivor, but this is insane. People are picking up other people and body slamming them. You can't do this. So it's just crazy how much even in the past
Corbin,
10 years.
Wrestling's not real.
Oh yeah, brother.
Well, yeah, man. I'm just saying it was.
Spoiler alert.
It was just wild. I was like, how can they do this? Because the current season has
how can he slam
people in their 50s or whatever?
How can he body slam?
This season, it's like, oh my gosh, there are girls kicking people. There are guys tackling girls and just throwing them across because they're bigger and stronger, but they don't care, right? You would never do that in real life, but they don't care. They're trying to win the game, and it's just like this. There's just no way this would be allowed today. This is absurd. So
I don't hear Russell saying that he wasn't surprised that the black guy was good at the basketball.
Come on, man. All I'm saying...
Yeah, he should have said that, and then he would have, not looked as racist in hindsight.
It's just crazy. But, man, the point is, I've decided that I'm going to be on Survivor. So...
Corbin, I want to see you on, a Bear Grylls type show where you have to drink your own pee. That's the environment.
Survivor's not enough for you, man?
Oh, what's that other show where the dude drinks his own pee a lot? What's that called? Oh, Hoarders. A lot of dudes drinking their own pee on Hoarders.
I'm just saying it would really
Corbin's
probably
looking behind him at 85 rows, yeah, those people sure are funny.
It would go a long way, I think, in my candidacy here if I had the whole of the cast supporting me to go on Survivor. And look at it this way: for those of you who don't want to support me, it'd be 4 weeks, more than that. It'd be 2 months that I'd been gone because I'm on a desert island trying to survive.
Anything to get you to lose weight, I think.
Well, see, that's a thing. People are like, you couldn't do that. You're not athletic enough. And I'm like, look, there's an athlete in me. I just ate it. I just ate that person years ago. But if I was starving on an island...
You just broke that athlete's leg.
Yeah,
twice.
If I was starving on an island, I'd probably dig it back out. I'd find it. I'd lose a bunch of weight. It'd be sweet.
There's a guy recently who completed 500 days of swimming or whatever in the UK. Corbin would do that just to get to a B-dubs on land.
I went to B-dubs 5 times in the past 11 days in Atlanta. It was great.
Ooh.
You would just die from withdrawal on Survivor.
Ooh.
No kidding, man.
The cold turkey alone would just end you.
Yeah.
B-dubs has to be the worst chicken place in Atlanta. You did it so horribly wrong.
Well, I mean, it was right outside
every street corner Every street corner has 4 chicken places on it, and you went to B-dubs.
Look, I had other good food too, right? But it was just, it was the thing across the street.
Yeah, the other 4 B-dubs times, duh.
All right. That's Corbin being Corbin. He didn't introduce any of us. That's all right.
11 out of 60 minutes. Just right into the toilet.
Right in the toilet. Why don't we have that be after hours and then never release it? What's after hours, you say? Well, after hours is stuff we cut out of the main episode, or used to, because it doesn't quite fit, but it's not quite the tone we are trying to achieve on this podcast, which we aim for a PG-13, which means we can say fuck once, and that I just said it. So some of the more inside baseball, raunchier, weirder stuff tends to go on a segment called After Hours that you can access if you go to patreon.com/Brainstorm Brewery and pledge us some money. You can have access to that. You can have access to one of these handsome drinking glasses that I'm drinking out of right now. My basement is full of them. There are boxes everywhere. I'm slowly sending those out to people. Or you can have access to the spreadsheet with all our picks of the week and breaking bulk picks, so you don't have to actually listen to the episode if you don't want to. $1 gets you access to the Discord server, where you can interact with us and our dank memes. $5 gets you access to the spreadsheet, access to the podcast early.
There you go.
10 for the spreadsheet, 20 for the glasses and stuff. I don't really know the tiers. Why don't you go to patreon.com? Who cares, man? You go to take your ass to patreon.com/Brainstorm Brewery and you figure out what tier is right for you. If you only give us $1, that's insanely generous. We thank you so much. We are at the highest number of patrons we've ever had, and we got some exciting stretch goals coming up, like Corbin burning his squeaky chair, us throwing a big party at Vegas, and us having a podcast where we have our wives on to talk shit about the size of our penises or whatever you guys want to ask them about. Man, so there's exciting stuff coming down the pipe. We are going to completely revamp the Patreon in January with new perks. We're not going to take anything away, but we are going to add some stuff, so that'll be good for everybody. So once you get in at the ground floor, just give us $1 at patreon.com/Brainstorm Brewery, and then you can figure out where you want to go from there. But we really appreciate the support. We have the best patrons on the planet and some of the worst just people as patrons. And you'll find that out when you go to the Discord, which again is $1 a month, which is 20 or 25 cents an episode, which is trivial.
That was a good pitch, Jason. That was a good pitch this week.
For the cost of a cup of coffee, you could save a Ugandan boy, or you could have access to our Discord server. So, that Ugandan boy, he's probably going to become a child soldier, but us, we are absolutely going to spend the money on a party in Vegas. So, you tell me where your money's better spent. That's all I'm saying. Also, the cost of a cup of coffee is like $7 now. So
that's true, yeah.
We are less than a cup of coffee.
There you go. You heard it. Look, we're going to do everyone a favor this week and not talk much about the Pro Tour. We're going to mention it later, but it happened. There was a savage cheat or a great bluff, depending on how you look at it, from Louis Scott Vargas in the semifinals. I got to cover. I thought it was one of the best moments of Magic I've ever seen. So that's pretty sweet. It was a cool thing. But let's break some bulk before we move on here. We've got some fun stuff coming up. UMA talk tonight, but a different kind, the fun kind this week, not the downer kind. All right, breaking bulk. Who wants to go first?
Last week was fun. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
Was Corbin here last week, and that's why it was fun?
I got to make fun of people
here
on the internet last week.
Cool,
wow, man. That's neat.
Breaking bulk time. Breaking bulk time. Break.
Oh, yeah, breaking bulk. There's so much good stuff.
It's a pick. Breaking bulk. The end.
I'm already on my second beer, and we're just starting the episode, so this is going to be interesting.
Mirage Black Common.
Funeral Charm.
No.
Mirage, huh?
Is it a creature?
No.
Mirage Black Common. Is it a charm? Did I get the name wrong?
No charm.
It's not a charm.
Funeral Charm is a Visions Black Common, I believe.
Okay, yeah. Song of Blood's Red.
I don't know.
Jason, you normally get these by the art, so I'm going to give you something little. There appears to be a small little bunch of towns, or like a bunch of houses or huts in a desert There's like a gateway, like a gateway into a very, very small town with a lot of tumbleweeds, some animal skulls at the entrance of the town.
It's the one that destroys a land, and if it's non-basic, they take 2?
Absolutely.
What is that called? Choking Sands. Choking Sands.
Black
I picked a bunch
sorcery,
of these, yeah.
Destroy target non-swamp land, so it cannot destroy swamps. Okay. If that land is a non-basic land, Choking Sands deals 2 damage to land's controller. So it's kind of like Molten Rain, except you just can't hit the mono black deck with it, so it's more of a sideboard card. And this card is mostly played in Pauper. It went from 30 cents or so up to $2 retail this past April during the whole Pauper hype. And
did that die, by the way?
No, it didn't.
Okay.
No. I still sell Pauper staples on TCG.
You can qualify for the Pro Tour in Pauper events now, so Pauper is going to be more popular now.
What?
More popular.
What?
Popular.
I mean,
that's not true.
There was that Yes, I mean, it's technically possible. They made that announcement last month or whatever when they were talking.
That they could have a Grand Prix format that was Pauper. Okay,
yeah, it'd be amazing.
Whatever.
Well, they said that the LGSs could run events that would let you qualify for the Pro Tour 2, and those LGSs would be allowed to dictate the format.
Yeah, we're gonna run. We're gonna run Modern.
No, I know. I'm just.
Did you guys hear me turn my head to breathe? Because that's important.
All right.
So yeah, Choking Sands, Black Common.
Yeah,
Pauper Legal.
I'm surprised I didn't get that because I've been picking a bunch of these. I thought that was Visions. Ironically, I said a Visions card and thought it was Mirage, and thought my Mirage card was Visions. So,
all right, I've got an easy one.
I drink when I sort.
I've got an easy one for you guys. I think DJ, I'm sure she can instant nail this. It is a Betrayers of Kamigawa Black Uncommon.
Uncontrolled Slaughter.
No.
Uncontrollable Slaughter.
Skull Collector.
No.
Betrayers.
Betrayers. Shit, I was thinking
Footsteps.
Champions.
No.
That's Footsteps.
This card was also in Plane Chase.
Betrayers is the throwing star,
Throat
DJ.
Slitter.
It is Throat Slitter.
I
guess it's a good one. I expected you guys to instantly get it. Yeah, Throat Slitter.
We didn't instantly get it because we've done Throat Slitter on this cast before.
I looked it up. It was 2 years ago, or a year and a half ago, or something. I think it's fair game.
Parents don't let their kids buy Throat Slitter. That's a meme on our Discord.
Since it was picked, it's gone from like $1 to like $4 for the Plane Chase version. And
because it's a ninja, and there are only 2 ninjas.
Yeah,
and they all have to go in the Yuriko deck. Yep.
Yeah, it's a Yuriko thing. So yeah, it's a ninjutsu thing. It can come into play.
It's a rat and a ninja. Like that's got a lot of crossover appeal in EDH because rat players want it because Throat Slitter is pretty good. Yuriko players want it because they have to have every stupid ninja, including Metallic Mimic. So
there you go.
Yeah,
pretty easy one. Jason, what do you got?
I have a Green Tempest common creature.
God, all these old cards,
uncommon creature. Sorry, Green Tempest uncommon creature.
It's not Muscle Sliver.
It's not Muscle Sliver.
That's a common, right?
Is it Horn Sliver?
Yeah, Horn Sliver's worth twice as much as Muscle Sliver, which is insane.
Well, Muscle Sliver is a common, right?
Yeah. Horn Sliver's the uncommon, but Horn Sliver's also like the only one that
Horn Sliver's only been printed.
Trample.
Well, it's only printed in Tempest, whereas Muscle Sliver was printed as an F&M foil and in the Premium Slivers deck. Horn Sliver just has the one printing.
Yeah, it's the only playable Sliver that gives trample because the other one's 7 mana.
Right.
Yeah. So it's not great.
Yeah, it's like $250. It's a good one. Yep. Yeah, it's great. Great pick.
And I get these in bulk all the time because it looks like just a shit sliver. Everyone like looks up Quick Sliver and Root Sliver and Gemhide, but nobody thinks for Horn Sliver because it's an Yeah, I get these in bulk all the time.
I just pull every sliver.
You would think this would be worth less than Muscle Sliver, and it's worth twice as much. So
there you go.
Yeah, I found 11 of these in bulk today.
Nice.
11 of them. I was just like, Jesus. Just together, nested. Somebody pulled out all the heart slivers.
Would you say pull every sliver? In a hive?
Shut up.
What's that? Were they in a hive?
Yeah.
Go fuck yourself.
Well, that's our third F-bomb of the cast. So
hey, man, we're a PG-39 cast at this point.
Can I give myself a hive 5 for that one?
A hive 5. I hope you break out in hives.
Jesus, man. All right, let's. So Pro Tour happened. It's going to inform my pick of the week later. So I'm going to talk briefly about it. The breakdown
Can we talk about how jarring it is to go from like an awkward intro right into Breaking Bulk and then into a topic like that's It's not smooth at all. You've done half as many of this podcast as me and DJ this year, so like I guess you just don't know how to transition, but that felt really jarring.
All right.
Is that just me? Sound off in the Discord if you thought that was jarring.
No, I agree with Jason. Corbin's getting voted off the island right now.
Oh!
2-1.
I would sing some Survivor-related song if I'd ever watched an episode of it. Did they have a theme song?
I don't know why you're asking me. I've never seen an episode.
Corbin, did they have a theme song?
I was letting you guys do the transitions now. Let's transition. Go ahead.
Survivor, Survivor, it's time to survive. You're on an island, try to stay alive. Survivor, Survivor, don't wash your clothes in the drinking water. Survivor. Right? Is that the theme song? Because it fucking should be. Pay me.
Pay
me,
the
CBS.
Man. Pay the man.
And
pay the man,
ticker
CBS.
goes up.
All right, Corbin. Fine. Let's talk about the Pro Tour. It's going to inform your pick of the week, so...
That was a good transition there. How you just
it had a
sang a song.
Interlude.
Yeah, you just sang a song and then talked about something else entirely. You're a
Yes.
master at this.
Yeah, I know. I've been doing this podcast for 6 years. You don't think I know how to transition?
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
You've been doing this for 6 years also, but you've been doing half as many episodes. So you've been doing it for 3 years.
One of these days, somebody is going to count. They're going to go and they're going to count all 300 plus episodes.
Our intern is working on it.
Oh my gosh. I would be curious to know how many I've missed. I bet it's like 20, 30.
You think you've only missed 10%?
Yeah, I think I've only missed 5 shows this year.
10%'s a lot, it turns out. It's a lot.
I think I've missed probably 5 shows this year.
That's just straight up.
Do you know what month do you know it's not June?
It's definitely single digits.
All right, get on it, intern.
There you go. I'd be interested to know. Man, I used to not miss as many, but it's just so hard now with my schedule.
There's 4 in the past 2 months, so you're not looking good.
You're just 5 all year.
Oh no!
You've hit 5 by July, Corbin. I'm going backwards.
Oh no!
Because I'm looking at our pick of the week, and your pick of the week through like all of October is like 1% milk hangover. Are you surprised? Really? It's blank for one of them, and then one of them just says missing. So that's 5.
You missed so many. We ran out of milk-related jokes to make about how you're.
How many of those casts? Like maybe we just didn't do pick of the week.
No, me and Jason have picks for those weeks.
We did picks of the week even on weeks where we didn't talk about it on the podcast, which is just another reason to subscribe to our Patreon. Some weeks, like, either we have a guest and we don't want to, like, have a jarring, like, oh, here's a nice evergreen conversation, and then we're going to date it by being like, I think you should buy this, but... So sometimes we won't say a pick of the week on the podcast, and you're like, hey, that's kind of lame. I thought I was paying for this. If you have access to the spreadsheet, we do update them on the spreadsheet, even if we don't say them on the episode. So that's just another reason.
May 25th or May 21st, Corbin missed another episode is his pick of the week.
Okay.
March 5th, it's blank.
7?
Hey, what are we paying our intern for if you're going to count here on the cast?
It sounds like it's going to be single digits.
No, there's 3 more in...
I think you're into double digits already,
No,
Corbin,
I think
which
it's
is
single
fine.
digits here.
If you want to access the spreadsheet by being a patron at the $10 level, is it?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, which is pretty trivial. $120 a year, the cost of a cup of coffee.
The third of the cost of a box of Ultimate Masters.
Oh, yeah, there you go. For the third of the cost of the box of Ultimate Masters, you could physically count yourself how many times Corbin's not been on this podcast. So if we don't do a pick of the week and a breaking bulk in the episode, almost all of the time where we just skip that in the episode for time or because we have a guest on, we will do it on the spreadsheet. So that's just another reason to have access to that.
That's true. All right, so the Pro Tour happened, and it was standard. That's it.
Good story.
That's it. That's all you need to know. Best. No, there was a bunch of white aggro in the top 8, but the top 16, top 32 was all super diverse. The lists that did well were all very diverse. I think we're seeing very much so the impact of play design. This is this set release, right? This rotation with this set release is the first Standard format in which play design was at its full strength of helping to inform the format. And you know what? It's a lot of fun. I heard everybody gush about Standard at the Pro Tour and in my local store. And I'm pretty excited to see where things go from here. So White Aggro was the best deck last weekend. Fortunately for Craig Wesco, he couldn't be there. So it was his Pro Tour and he couldn't make it. But I think that Standard moving on is going to be good as well. So pretty excited about it. One of the things at the Pro Tour that really stood out to me was the story of one of the players there that Wizards gave an invitation to compete. It's a player battling muscular dystrophy. His name is Dustin Roberson. It was a really difficult story for me, as a parent and as a human being to write and talk to Dustin's father about there. But at the same time, I'm glad I was able to share that story because I think people like that are really special, and everyone else in the world, your life is made better in some way by hearing those people and acknowledging them. And I think that, on a serious note, you should probably go check out that piece because it's just an incredible Magic player, story of perseverance and all that stuff that really sets people apart. And, I think it's really cool. It's one of the reasons that I do what I do. It's one of the biggest reasons. It's cool to write deck text and all, but sharing stories like that is why I do what I do. So outside of that, it was, a normal Pro Tour. And now we're going to, move on from the Pro Tour and see what happens in Standard. But we've got a lot of other things to talk about this week, including everyone's favorite subject, Ultimate Masters. So did you guys get as much hate as you expected to?
Know, while we're on the subject,
sure.
Muscular dystrophy is a pretty brutal and devastating disease. There's a protein called dystrophin that prevents your muscles basically from breaking down, and if you don't have enough of that, your muscles just have basically a finite shelf life, and it's a sad disease to see it progress. I would recommend everyone donate at the Muscular Dystrophy Association website. I donate to various charities like that every year around tax time, and that's a very worthy cause. It's a pretty brutal disease, and it mostly affects young boys who, most of them don't really live to adulthood. So, on a serious note, muscular dystrophy is one of the most brutal diseases, and it seems fairly simple to eradicate just if there's enough research and enough time put into it, and every dollar of a financial contribution to doing that research helps. So we'll put the link to the Muscular Dystrophy Association in the show notes. And that's how you do a transition. Anyway, what were you going to talk about?
So did you guys get as much hate for the podcast last week as you might have expected?
No, because anyone who's going to give me hate for it, I'm just blocked on Twitter. So.
Okay, good point. Yeah. I actually had mostly reasonable responses.
There was that one guy who got pretty upset at us on Twitter.
I actually thought, I had a pretty good dialogue
He
with
didn't
that
seem
person,
upset.
yeah.
He wrote a lot of stuff, and then it turned out he agreed with us, but he was just real aggro.
That's the thing. It's like you can agree with us and also just kind of be like, this sucks.
Yeah, it's really confusing valid. When you just agree at us in all caps and then add a bunch of exclamation points.
Look, I thought that person was...
You guys are doing great! You're the best!
Football coach.
I agree with you and it sucks!
Football
right.
coach DJ is here. No, I think that's the thing. It's just like, I think all the players are upset. It's valid, right? That doesn't change what the economics of it are, and it doesn't change any of those realities, but you're allowed to wish that you could buy it for cheaper.
It's the worst.
You introduced the character of football coach DJ, and now I can't stop thinking about writing that sketch.
I know, right?
You guys out there, they scored more basket goals, and we need more foot points.
Well, no, DJ starts yelling, and then they're like, yo, can't hear you, and then someone gets him a stool because he's so short, so he can talk to all the players much bigger than him.
Yeah, and then he whips his wife for a half hour. They're like, man, if that's what he's going to do to someone he cares about, imagine what he'll do to us. And then they go run stadium stairs.
Yep, that's where I was going with that, too.
Football coach DJ. Be called Friday Night Magic Lights. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Pretty much. All right, football coach DJ, tell us about number crunching Ultimate Masters.
So, every set that is released has what is called a number crunch that is created by the denizens of the internet. What that means is that every set, if you look at the actual set list on Wizards' website, starts with colorless non-artifact cards. So in the case of Ultimate Masters, we start with the Eldrazi. So we have Emrakul as card number 4. If you look in the bottom left corner of the card, you'll see 4 out of whatever it is, 249, I think. And then Karn, and then Kozilek, and then Ulamog. And then you get into the white cards, then the blue cards, and they're all alphabetical within color. So you see Snapcaster's number 71, and then Temporal Manipulation 77. That means that in between Snapcaster Mage and Temporal Manipulation, there are 6 cards that could be in the set between SN and TE. So we could get something like Soothsaying or Sphinx Ambassadors, just some random cards that don't really matter. But that also means that there are cards that are excluded just based on rules and logic. So, for example, we have Ulamog as card number 7, and that means that there's no other card after Ulamog if we get card number 8 as a white card, for example. If we get card number 8 as a white card, that means that there is nothing past Ulamog, so no Ugin's neck or Ulamog's whatever, I don't know.
Hey, I got bad news for you. G is before L alphabetically.
Yeah, you can cut that. That's fine.
No, leave it in.
No, definitely leaving that in.
And so...
please, Mr. Revised Power. I don't want to hear it.
It's never...
Oh, don't bring that up again.
Say the wrong word. You say the wrong word one time.
And so...
That's how memes are born.
There's a couple other crunches involved in this too, and Ultimate Masters is a unique case specifically because we got all of the mythics at once on one weekend. So we got every single mythic previewed as box toppers, some of the rare, some of the uncommons, but we know all 20 mythics in the set, so we can exclude certain other mythics or cards that would be mythic just based on that rule. So we're not going to get a Planeswalker at rare, so that means Ugin is out.
How do you know we're not going to get a Planeswalker at rare? If this is the Ultimate Masters, they could rarity shift some of the stuff. That is the thing they tend
unlikely.
To do.
Seems very unlikely. I don't think that they have ever done a Planeswalker as a rare in a Masters set.
Have they ever done a box topper? A lot about this set is unprecedented.
Okay.
There's enough. There's enough stuff that we can legitimately crunch out that I don't want to speculate too much.
Sure, but I would agree that, for instance, Jace is probably not in the set.
Oh, yeah, Mind Sculptor? Yeah. You're not going to get Liliana the Veil as an uncommon because they're like, rarity shifts happen.
Yeah. So DJ, what are some of the big ones that have been ruled out?
Cryptic Command, right?
Cryptic Command is still feasibly in the set.
Yep.
Because it's the only thing crunched out for blue is Snapcaster Mage. Anything before Snapcaster Mage is fair game in terms of rares and mythics.
Yeah, I mean back to basics.
Outside of mythics, so we could theoretically get Force of Will at rare. It is very, very, very unlikely. I'd argue pretty much impossible because they would want to milk that slot for as much as it's worth in the future, just like Ugin. But we could theoretically see back to basics at rare, and that's one that a lot of people think are on the reserve list. But somehow Back to Basics could just easily be in this set at rare, and that's a card that is $70, $80 right now. And if it gets put in this set as a rare, we're going to see something like Rashadenport where it was $100 and now it's $20.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about probably what's probably the most assured, least speculative at this point. What has been ruled out?
Yeah. What's hard ruled out?
Outside of the mythics and all that stuff.
Yeah. There's some stuff that's alphabetically rolled out.
Well, didn't you mentioned Mox Opal earlier, right?
Well, Mox Opal is only ruled out due to the mythic thing.
Well, I think that's that's what I'm saying. That's a reasonable assumption.
Yes, Mox Opal.
Yeah, there's no way they're going to do box toppers on stuff that's not in the set. We know there's 20 mythics, so any mythics is not that 20.
Exactly. That is my major point, and that is Mox Opal is not going to be a rare in the set because they've shown that they want it to be a mythic. I mean,
and it's $100 or whatever.
They're not going to throw that set card in the set as rare. So Mox Opal is basically ruled out of the set. If you need your Mox Opals, you should probably buy them now. That kind of thing.
They have a tendency to what they say is we want to increase card availability, and that's not just a euphemism for for, lower the price. What they want is more people to have a Tarmogoyf that's worth roughly what a Tarmogoyf was worth before they reprinted it. And that hasn't happened because they reprinted Tarmogoyf a lot in a lot of master sets, but they're happy with the outcome. People who have the cards don't feel disenfranchised because they lost a bunch of money. People who don't have the cards don't feel disenfranchised because there's never more coming into the market and they got to pay a ton of money.
And there's a couple other interesting situations where we see cards with overarching themes that could theoretically be in the set. But like Blightsteel Colossus is a really interesting example of this because it is not number crunched out of the set, but it is another mythic that they are very, very unlikely to put it rare. And if they're not putting Blightsteel Colossus in the set, you have to wonder, are they putting other Infect cards in the set? Pretty unlikely, so I mean that means like Viral Drake and your Blight Mambas or whatever, or your stack of Blighted Agents are probably safe for the rest of the set.
Yeah, yep. I'm gonna hit you guys with some here.
Actually, I'm looking at this number crunch now, and it says Urborg Tomb of Yawgmoth is number 500.
254 out of 254. Urza lands are out.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Urza lands are out. More interestingly, Verdant Catacombs is also out.
Well, I don't think.
And if Verdant Catacombs is out, it seems like the whole cycle is likely out.
Why would sure, that's not ruled out in the same way that Urza lands are, but it seems extremely unlikely that they would print 4 of the 5 fetch lands or whatever, right? So I mean, maybe they're going to go the other.
Well, there are 10 fetches.
Sure, right.
So they could do the other 5. They could do the friendly color.
They could probably do the cons ones, right?
Maybe. I mean, I don't know.
But those have been printed more, so it seems unlikely.
It seems
also.
unlikely, yeah. So
so we'd have to have Scalding Tarn in between Raging Ravine and Stirring Wildwood then.
We already know that's out.
Okay, so then
we know that's out because Verdant Catacombs is out. The question is if they do the cons ones, also known as the Onslaught ones, like Polluted Delta.
So Polluted Delta would have to be in between Lava Claw Reaches and Raging Ravine.
Right. Which, could be, right? I mean...
Yes.
So, those aren't out, but you can safely rule out the Zendikar fetches.
Yeah.
So,
but I mean, the overarching point of this entire segment is that if you are a player looking to pick up specific cards and you are worried about them being in the set, you can use this handy-dandy little algorithm, I guess you'd call it, to slowly figure out exactly which cards are guaranteed to not be in the set based on the rules that Wizards of the Coast has provided you. So if you're looking to pick up your Mana Reflections or your Bloom Tenders or your Reese the Redeemed or some other obscure card that's could crash if it's in the set at rare, you can use this to figure out whether or not you should wait. Like Grim Tutor, Exquisite Blood, just stuff like that could very easily just be destroyed if it's in the set at rare. You can use this number crunching thing to hedge your bets.
So the thing about Scryfall is you can look and it will actually tell you what cards are possible between a certain thing. So for instance, 239 is Creeping Tar Pit, 241 is Dark Depths. There's only a handful of lands that fit that vein in there, and it's hard to imagine what they might be. For instance, one of them is Crypt of the Eternals. Clearly that's not going to be it, right? That's not going to happen, that Hour of Devastation on common land. Crumbling Necropolis is a possibility. It's possible that we can determine if all the others fit. That cycle's in there. But
wrote out Legends Urborg as well as Urborg Tomb of Yawgmoth.
Yeah, Dakmor Salvage is also a possibility for that spot. So it's just very useful. Scryfall is a great tool for this. So you can do a lot of playing around with it and see. But
even within that specific spot, you can make cuts after that. So in that spot you're talking about, 2 of the options are Crosis Catacombs and Daragaz Caldera. Those are 2 cards, part of a cycle, near each other in the crunch, but we have 1 spot there, so we can't have both of those lair lands, so that basically cuts out both of them. So I'm leaning towards Dakmor Salvage as this spot because it's like a $2 uncommon.
Right, exactly. So yeah, that's just a very, very useful tool for looking at sets, determining in Scryfall. I mean, this is probably the best number crunching tool that we've ever had in terms of ease of use to play around with it. So it's a lot to like here.
Also, I think whoever created this function sorted it by price. So you can click on between Ulamog and Snapcaster, and then you click on it, it goes to Back to Basics, Force of Will, Mana Drain, Greater Oromancy, Reset, Rune Tailor. So it's sorted by price. You can pick out which of the reprints you don't want to get hit by.
Yeah, which is
like
great.
Back to Basics and Greater Ormats are number 1 on number 2 on my get this out of my inventory list.
Isn't Back to Basics like pretty close to the most expensive non reserve list card from that era?
I would not be surprised.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's pretty, all in all, it's pretty neat. Check it out. It's a pretty cool thing with UMA, and we've listed a couple of the ones that are, actually rolled out. So, all right, let's move on to Pick of the Week, guys.
Pick of the Week, Pick of the Week, Pick of the Week. Time for the Pick of the Week.
Wow, are you there already?
We are. It's that time. I've got a standard one. I teased it earlier. Benalish Marshall. I'm sure this doesn't surprise people, but it's a Dominaria card. It's $2 right now, starting to creep up. Clearly, obviously, after it dominated the Pro Tour.
It's a really important card in that deck.
Yeah, and they don't all run it, but I do think the versions that run it were the best, especially if you think
you go turn 3 Benalish Marshall, turn 4 Heroic Intervention. And it's
right. It's Heroic Reinforcements. Yeah, and it's insane.
Whatever, man.
Yeah, with the other ones, they would play more red to have. More Aurelia or more 2-drops or Boros Challenger or something. But it is, and this is my guess, I'm obviously not a standard expert, but I'm assuming that with a Pro Tour dominated by X1s, there's probably going to be quite a bit of Goblin Chain Whirler coming back into the format, which makes Benalish Marshall even more vital. And it makes those builds a little better. So I think, I don't think, like I said, I don't think this white deck is as good as its Pro Tour top 8s looked. The actual stats outside of the top 8 don't look, they're nowhere near as lopsided. I don't even think it'll be the best deck next week, but I don't think it's a deck that's going anywhere. So, but
there's so many people have been on it for a while, though. Like, a lot of mirror matches locally. Ray Perez was on the deck. My boy Joey D was on this deck.
Yeah, it started breaking out.
Won the PPTQ wearing a Brainstorm Brewery t-shirt. And if you want a Brainstorm Brewery t-shirt, we're going to be relaunching a TeeSpring campaign. If you got one of the ugly-looking shirts, again, we'll have instructions in the show notes about how to send that in for a refund and get a Teespring refund, and then you'll be able to buy with the new campaign that we're launching this week. You'll be able to get your shirts in pretty soon because that campaign's only going to last a couple of weeks. So you want to make sure you get your refund processed, and then you can trade in those old, gross-looking shirts for much better-looking ones with a crisper looking logo that's higher definition and is printed better. I wish we could offer you a better alternative than that, but we cannot. That's what Teespring told us was our one option. So send in your ugly shirts, get new ones, and wear them at a tournament. And if you do well at a tournament wearing our shirts, maybe we'll sponsor you. Who knows? So shout out to the people that have been on this white red weenie deck for a long time and repping Brainstorm Brewery gear.
All right, there you go. Okay, so what do you guys got for Pick of the Week?
Oh, I have got a card that is predicated on the fact that there is like that Omnispell Adept, and basically the only deck that people are building with commanders from this new set is Niv Mizzet, who is exactly Niv Mizzet.
Yeah.
It's nothing new.
Yeah.
People are less excited about the new stuff than they are something that's basically just a better version that's he's got no colorless mana, so he's harder to cast. So the card I'm really excited about, and it's creeping up, it's nearly $5. This has been like $2-3 as a mythic forever, is Enter the Infinite. Now this is a card that's a little tough to cast, so people tend to want to cast Omniscience, but you can cast this off Omnispell Adept. You can reduce the cost of it with all kind of stuff. Or you have all kinds of ways to cheat this into play, and this wins the game basically. If you have a big turn, you draw your deck, and then you have one big turn with all the cards, and usually resolving Enter the Infinite in the deck that's equipped to do that kind of stuff. You got it right.
Omniscience, Enter the Infinite, see it all the time.
Yeah, you'll do whatever you need to do. So Enter the Infinite's creeping up. It's unlikely to get reprinted. It is a mythic, and Gatecrash was a while ago, so under $5, I really like this. This is probably an $8 to $10 card in a couple years.
All right, DJ, what do you got?
My pick is one that is a mythic that likely got number crunched out of Ultimate Masters. Ugin the Spirit Dragon
Did it get crunched out, or did it likely get crunched out?
I mean, it's a mythic.
It's definitely a
They're
mythic.
not putting
Ugin... so it's didn't get a box topper crunched out.
99.9% not in the set. I think this is a great pick.
You might think, wow, DJ's pick of the week is around $40 right now. I think Ugin goes higher. Last week I picked Liliana the Last Hope along the same sort of logic of there being a Liliana in the set already. And these are just two of the most powerful planeswalkers we've seen just printed in the past decade. I mean, Ugin's a casual all-star, just giant colorless spirit dragon that also happens to see modern play. I think this card is just going to continue to see a price increase because it won't get reprinted. It's going to hit those Karn levels of like 60, 70. And you're going to wish you bought it at 40. It's not a buy a bunch of them and then sell them later pick, because that's obviously a significant amount of capital you would have to drop. But if you need your
it's a don't get screwed waiting around.
Right, exactly. It's not going to be in the set.
This card is not going to be cheaper in the next year or so.
Right, and we talk a lot about pent-up demand. You know, people waiting for reprints. And now they know Ultimate Masters is probably going to be the last Master set for a while, at least... That they said they were discontinuing the product line for the time being.
They said they would discontinue the product line for the foreseeable future, but they also said they would continue it for the foreseeable future when they launched it. So, who knows?
Yeah, I mean...
They can't foresee the future very well, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, you never know. But point is, I agree with DJ. I mean, Ugin is just going to get more expensive from this point, unless there's some other, obviously... possible reprint avenue we don't know about, but
it's hard.
I agree.
Cards like this are just hard to reprint unless you have that very specific niche slot in a master set, and this one just got taken up by Karn.
Yep, absolutely, good pick. All right, anything else you guys want to talk about before we get out of here this week? All right, everybody, thank you for listening to Brainstorm Brewery. We will see you next week. I don't really know what's going on next week. I guess we're getting closer to the lead into Ultimate Masters. I'm sure the previews for that will be trickling out, so expect a lot more of that coming up. Until then, have a great week.
We did not get a preview card on Brainstorm Brewery for Ultimate Masters, but we did get a preview card for another site I contribute to, and you guys will be surprised to hear this. It is a reprint.
Woo!
I'm not supposed to say anything, but you heard it here first. Look, I could get in trouble for telling this, but it's a reprint. It's a spicy one. But it's free.